All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Kev. We got Chris and Elijah, and today we got our special guest Greg making his first debut.
Glad to be here.
Being on the show, and so I just want to start off by saying this idea came from Greg. He watched our first episode of the Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and which y'all should go definitely check out. Get those views up for that show. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I love what you guys are doing. I was wondering what if y'all would do a rating of the Star Wars show." And I was like, "Well, let me talk it over with Chris. Chris loved it." And I said, "It'd be even better if we got you on the show because me and you talk Star Wars." And so here we are. Greg is finally on the show. So shout outs to Greg. Shout outs to everybody who did watch those previous shows. I want to start off by, and mind you guys, we did like at least 9 minutes of this show. So to have to redo it, it's all good. But I was watching Star Wars Theory. He's very popular on YouTube, and especially about Star Wars. And Matt Walsh, I guess he's a very known critic. How do you pronounce
Critic.
critic? Yeah,
critic.
And he was bashing pretty much Star Wars.
He's gonna get
3.
some hate over this.
Yeah,
if he hasn't already.
and Star Wars Theories should be debating him soon about this. But I just wanted to say that not a lot of people give that movie the credit it deserves. The dialogue and whatever it is that you may complain about it, but it was a good movie and it still holds up to this time. But I just want to say that I believe that it still holds up, like we said in our first episode of doing this, and I don't think you guys would disagree with that. But here's what I want. Matter of fact, Greg, you go ahead and bring up the Jar Jar Binks because I can't remember what I said originally. So
Right. So, through my research and some stuff I've done on my own, a still debated topic that we may or may not get an answer to. Who knows? It could remain one of those things. It's like, it's like comparing, it's comparing it to Bigfoot. It's like, is it really a thing? Is it not a thing? You never know. But one of the debated topics that I've found most interesting recently is Jar Jar Binks a hidden Sith Lord, yes or no?
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence. And from the looks of it, says Chris.
I don't think what I originally said, was I think if that's the way Disney's going, then yes, fine, let it be.
That's not
But
really what I
That's
heard.
not what you said.
That's not exactly what
That's
you
not
said.
what you said. That's why I'm giving you this look right now.
Oh, what did I say?
You
I
said
you said
if
it would
he
be a
was
great
a Sith
idea.
Lord, it'll be a great idea, and I would like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what the people would want, and I guess if Disney had to go that way, then fine, let it be. I don't.
As much as you feel about Jar Jar Binks, you would be okay with him being
I
a
would
Sith
not
Lord.
be okay with him being a Sith Lord. I think his original design was okay. Why'd you give me that look? You know what? My own daughter gave you a look like I'm lying. Listen, I think Jar Jar Binks was created because originally, so we're talking about episodes 1, 2, 3. Jar Jar Binks, at least for the first movie, was the comedy relief as R2-D2 and C-3PO was for that generation.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Jar Jar Binks was created to make kids laugh because I'm a 9-year-old. I don't know anything about politics, even till today. Don't know nothing about politics. Not going to get into it. But I wouldn't understand that, nor would I have cared for it. So for Jar Jar to be here as a comedy relief, I'm laughing. I'm loving it, the way he's talking. And you hear Emmett Best.
No, he was a great character.
Yeah.
Great character.
Emmett Best.
I don't know why he got so much hate either.
Yeah.
It's it's like you said, he was a great comic
Yeah.
relief character, and you know, he served a purpose.
Right. And here's where a lot of people give him bashing at. Because I talked to y'all about this. They bashed, at least in the end movie, they bashed Jar Jar Binks because you hear all this, how they treated him after the Clone Wars was over. But I said, he suggested it, and the whole Senate approved it.
Yeah.
And so, like, mind you, if the Senate didn't say yes, I agree with him, let him be the chancellor for however long they need him to be till the war's over. If it could have been somebody else who could have said it, and then we would have been bashing him. But it was Jar Jar Binks.
But it wasn't.
Hey, it wasn't.
See, now you got me thinking about this now.
Right.
That's why I said, but it wasn't. They listened to him.
You see where I'm kind of leaning
And when you
towards
really
with
think
this.
about it, how much did Jar Jar really know about?
Politics.
Yeah.
He was, well, think of it. He was he was Representative Binks. He wasn't
Yep.
the guy. He was obviously a stand-in for for Padme when, you know, she wasn't around. That's what he was there for. But
But they really took what
really
he said
think about
into
it, though.
consideration. I don't
Really?
like how you just tricked my mind up.
really, no.
Like-
But that's the thing, Chris. Think about it, because I felt the exact same way you did. I swear, I felt the exact same way. But the little bits and pieces of I was watching more and more, and I was like, oh my god, this makes so much sense. Like, think about it. Like, he's standing behind. Well, we know now it was her. You know, it was her body double or her bodyguard, but however you want to phrase it. And this is where it gets kind of weird, because the whole time he's talking to her, you just see his hand doing this. Every time he's talking to something, like, dude, I'm telling you, like, little stuff like that. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm telling you,
Gotta
like,
go back and watch
you
it.
gotta,
now.
you gotta at least look it up and give it a shot. But think about it. Somebody and whoever, I'm not sure specifically what channel I was watching, but they phrased it perfectly. How could somebody bumble up that much overall, but be as successful as he is with accomplishing whatever it is he's doing? Think about it. As clumsy and think about, so circle back to the battle in Naboo. He's a klutz. He called himself clumsy. He was allegedly thrown out of his out of his
tribe. I guess.
out of his tribe, home city, whatever you want to call it, for being clumsy, right? This is his first time, as far as we know of, that he's been in a major battle. But look at the damage he was able to cause while being, air quote, clumsy.
I did hear those things. Listen,
It's making you think a little bit. I can tell. It's making.
if that's the case, fine. And then that's why I'm like, okay, great, let it be, let it happen. But originally, I don't think it is. But if it is the case, I mean, a lot of people have theories that's a thing, and it's a thing. But I don't think that's originally what was going on. I don't think.
Like I said, it's a
there's
debated topic.
there's a lot of hidden agendas in Star Wars.
There
man.
is.
Like
Yeah.
it's like the more and more you watch
It
it,
is.
you find out a lot more things,
Well, and
man.
the crazy bit is not even just that, but the more you watch Theory, I also watch Stupendous Wave a lot. He's
Yeah.
a great one for, because I love the lore videos he does. But the more you learn from their channels, and then you go back to watching the films, and you're just like, wow, I didn't even notice that before.
Yeah. Yes. Again, like you said, it's a touchy.
Now, what you were saying, I'm not, like, that was, like, just completely out of left field.
I'm here for it.
Listen, originally it wasn't recorded, so we could have left that out. But y'all want to go ahead and put that in there, but
Yeah, because you tried to play it off as a totally different,
Totally different answer. Like no,
You tried to play it off like
You
it never
said,
even
yeah,
happened.
I like it. Like what?
because of the people
Slaughtering
like it.
children,
listen.
next upcomers. You're just here for it.
Well, Anakin slaughtered children and the women too.
And what did I say about him? I
Oh,
said he
yeah.
is a monster.
Yeah.
That man is a monster.
That kid has some serious bipolar personality disorder.
Yes. And then I was gonna say it for later. I'm gonna touch on it now. You then bring your own son to him and like, hey, make him just as crazy as me.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And then like, oh wait, and this other part, man, I'm gonna run through these while they're popping in my head. Let's not forget, Chancellor was strapped in the chair, right? He needed to be freed. Anakin freed him. What happened when he brought his son in front of the Chancellor? He was strapped down. He freed him. So it was stages leading to him turning out to be just like Anakin. And then out of nowhere, he's like, nah, I'm not doing this no more. He's just like, no, this is wrong. I'm not doing this. And now when I went back and watched it, I'm just like, oh, so y'all were just going to repeat the process and just keep doing this and have him slaughter more people and more kids and more females. I said, yeah, I like the Sith for certain things.
I'm a fan of Palpatine. You can ask Kev. He is
I mean, plays chess with himself.
like
Yeah.
Smart.
he it truly is my most favorite person in the series.
Out of bad guys entirely,
yeah.
of all bad guys that we know of, he's the greatest. You know, that's a bad thing to say, but
But
It
wait,
took 6 films for them to finally defeat the man, and then we find out through comics and everything else that he's not dead. Well before Disney gave us that, I'm
That's
not
what I
going to
was
go
gonna
into
say.
that right now.
I was
But and
gonna
the
say
man
that.
is still not dead.
yeah,
yeah,
He got out of it.
somehow, Palpatine-
some way, Palpatine found
The
a way.
man's a beast.
Yeah,
It's
So
oh god.
I want to ask this question. I want to ask this question since we're talking about Palpatine. So, the fight between Mace and Chancellor Palpatine. I've rewatched that fight so many times just because they've either changed the quality of the filming just a little bit, nothing crazy, or just because it's a great fight. But the one thing that I found interesting was though. Again, I'm just gonna quote Stupendous because I watch a lot of his stuff. He brought up a very interesting point. At least I believe that was him. Did Palpatine throw that fight on purpose, or was it a draw, or did he really lose like they wanted us to believe?
Okay.
because I mentioned this to you.
You did,
from him.
and it. Pardon my language. It fucked my mind up because he brought up to me. I was at work. I was working. He was like, "Hey, guess what? How do you feel about this question?" I was like,
And that's what I
at first
said.
I was like, "Man, get out of here with that." He's like, "No. You really need to think about that." It only took me 3 minutes to get caught in my own head, and I was just like, I told Kevin, I was like, "Yo, I can't stop thinking about this. It's
crazy.
I can't." And honestly, I didn't even go back and watch it. It was just in those few seconds I was able to
Yep.
replay it in my head. When Windu had him basically pinned down, he wasn't really pinned down because look how fast he only needed like
That's
really
exactly
a few
what I said to
seconds
Kev.
to be able to toss him out the window. Like as fast as he did that, yeah, he was playing. But then also it got me thinking. We touched on this like really, really briefly. And I can't remember the movie. I always get the movies mixed up, like which movie is which. They had to keep going back and saving his behind.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
So it's the third movie.
And then they did it in the. You said they also did it in.
Oh,
the,
you're talking
in
about
the series.
Yeah,
Is it was it when they fought Dooku on the invisible hand?
Yes.
That fight? Okay.
And then they're falling down. I think it's the elevator shaft. I think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, yep.
And they didn't really. So
I love
I
that
went
scene,
back
by
and
the
watched
way.
it.
That
So
scene is
you know.
great.
So you can picture that scene, right?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Did you notice how when he threw the gauntlet up, right? No one grabbed him.
No.
They swung in. I don't know if you picked that up. No one actually reached out and grabbed him.
No.
They grabbed each other, and
And
they
then
swung,
Palpatine just
and
kind of
Palpatine
grabbed on.
just grabbed
He just grabbed. They were gonna let him fall.
They were going to let him fall to his death. They were going to let him fall.
Okay.
And I started thinking about that part. I was like, oh, he would have just fell. If he would have just fell.
Right, but what do you though? What do you have?
No, because the man is his power is like ungodly. So when that fight, I watched it. I watched it again, like before I came here, and I was like,
You see it
dude,
now,
he
don't you?
threw it. He really threw the fight.
Yep.
He threw that fight,
Because
and
if you
then
think about it, look back to how the fight started. So a good way to look at it is Mace Windu didn't just pick those 3 random masters to come with him. From what I learned, three of the top swordsmen in the Jedi Temple.
Yep.
In the Jedi Order currently, not putting aside Grandmaster Yoda, Anakin in his own right, Kenobi obviously he's on Utapau at the time, and then you have Palpatine. You go in to arrest him, and the man just bulldozes through three Jedi High Council members in under in what, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I think Kit Fisto lasted the longest.
Right. And then
So, like, and then the man just loses.
So
after a brief fight with Master Windu.
here's my question to that. Now, let's say he did throw it. I think he did towards the end when the shattered glass, because at this point he had to have sensed Anakin landing on the platform.
Oh yeah, he knew that part.
Yep.
So
Yep.
did he throw? So I know I have a strong feeling he threw the fight at that point. But when the fight first started and he got rid of those guys, and it was just him and Mace Windu, was that him like, all right, I'm touring around with you until Anakin gets here, or is he fighting for his life?
I don't think he. Well, okay, so that makes you think again. So Palpatine was a master of foresight. The man could, see into the future. So there is that possibility that he knew after all that poking and prodding that he would show up. Maybe he didn't. Who knows? I like to think that he was taking. Yes, he treated it like playtime, but he, treated the fight seriously at least up to that point,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then threw it.
Yeah.
Because, based off what you were saying, where he realized, okay, Anakin's coming in the room, this is the perfect time to pretty much cement my point of the Jedi are taking over.
Right.
And then it led, that makes sense, because it then led into Anakin coming into the room, seeing firsthand, okay, you got him pinned, arrest him. No, we're not going to arrest him. We're going to kill him.
Right.
Which goes back to what we stated earlier before it was even recorded. I had to make sure I put it together. They pick and choose. They really pick and choose, and that's a prime example. Oh, like, cause we talked about this in other episode. They really, I can't blame Anakin for doing what he did.
No.
Because they showed that man that, hey, you have to obey by this, and this. You don't have a choice. This is what you have to do. If you want this position, this is what you have to do. Okay, we're supposed to arrest him. No, he can't. He can't. What's the word?
He can't live.
He can't live.
Yeah.
Because he's a danger. So we have to kill him. That's the second time they said that to him. And there was another incident. I forgot what it was. There was another incident where they said something kind of similar, and they went against what they were always saying. Yoda, when Yoda told him, you cannot care about.
It was when he was talking with Master Yoda about his nightmares.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when he found out that his mom actually died, oh, you want to comfort him? What do you mean? Like, he told you that his mom was going to die. You guys told him he's not supposed to care about that. You can't worry about that. You can't, nothing. But then when his mom dies, oh, sorry, your mom died. This and that. No, you're not.
Like, you could have prevented it. You could have prevented it. Yeah.
What do you mean you're sorry? You're not sorry. Yeah. And all these things just led to him. And then you keep pushing him to the Chancellor. You just keep pushing him.
Literally, every little, like, every misstep that the Jedi Council made in handling, I guess if you want to call it Anakin's situation, all they're doing is just pushing him further and further into Palpatine's arms.
Right.
And now, to add insult to injury and make things even worse for you guys, you are now having him spy on the Chancellor also, which is basically having him around him even more. So not only is he have, feelings and trepidations about you guys already, but you're now basically forcing him into a situation which has made him even angrier.
Right.
And into the arms of the man that you're trying to, more or less, keep from potentially taking over.
Right.
Yes. And then Kev said it best in another episode. Padme ain't innocent either.
Yes.
Padme, yeah. Because she allowed, she comforted him. Like, you just heard him kill, regardless if you think they have sentience or not, they're still human base, and especially now that seen Boba Fett, you know that these aren't just random, born created things. They are people that lost their way, found the tribe, and became this way. So, yeah.
What's even crazier is you're almost seeing their relationship fall apart. In Attack of the Clones, you're seeing their relationship get stronger and stronger. But now, as the events of Revenge of the Sith keep playing out, you just see them starting to separate and
Yes.
become more distrusting of each other, or it's like a domestic situation gone wrong.
Because they don't know who to trust at that point. Because you got people, and that's one thing that I will say. Some really did stick to what they were supposed to stick to. Others were wishy-washy. They would do it, they wouldn't do it. And I think after what Anakin did, what he did, or getting closer to it, a lot of them were looking at each other like, hey, yeah, we're supposed to be doing this.
Right.
We're not supposed to be doing that. Matter of fact, when they were in the when I think wasn't it Windu who said there's a dark force in him, right? And when he was talking to the panel, what did they say? Some of them were saying, "Oh, shouldn't take him." The other one was saying, "Nah, we should give him a chance." If you look at their faces, a lot of them look at each other like, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
Like they were It was starting to show then, because it's like, hey, you just said there's a dark force in him. Why would we even take that opportunity to even play with that? And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, dude, Anakin could have really been the greatest, but they really, okay, yeah, maybe he needed more time, maybe he needed more practice, maybe he whined and bitched a lot. He did. But he was young. You guys took him at a young age. What do you expect?
Right.
You wanted him to grow up so quickly.
Well, not a young age. You took him at the wrong age.
At the wrong, yeah, that's what I
Wrong
meant.
age.
I meant the wrong age. At the wrong age.
Well, it's almost like a case of brainwashing. They didn't have him at that early enough age
Yes.
where they could have,
Molded his
more or
mind.
less brainwashed him into, more or less what they wanted to be. He already had that independence and that individuality.
Yeah, already.
He had already socialized with other people that
Right.
weren't a part of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I think probably the biggest what the heck situation is, and this is where I gotta talk a little smack on Anakin just a smidge. The scene in the opera house. Sidious is basically telling you his situation. Why would a chance? And me and Kev talked about this a little bit. What was it? Friday, Thursday, one of those days. But it's like, how would a chancellor know a Sith legend? Why would a chancellor need to know a Sith legend? Like, it makes you think. And how are you not picking up on this? Like, he's literally telling you everything.
Exactly.
I mean, he ends up telling him anyway, but still, it's like, how are you not picking up on this earlier? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it would have been different had he went to the council after the opera and said, "Hey, he knows about the Sith. We should definitely keep an eye on him. You guys were right. I was
Right.
tripping." But no, he didn't go to them and said that. He just
but that's the thing, though. He didn't have an outright admittance of, I am a Sith Lord at the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was still just, he was kind of knocking on the door more or less, but he hadn't quite pushed
right.
it open.
But I mean, that's like saying I don't know politics at all. So that's like me telling you something about politics, and you don't want me to, I guess, get into the whatever type of power or position. You would sit there like, well, wait, you stated you didn't know nothing about that. Why would you know anything about this? Why would you know? That should ring. It should
Well,
ring
that's the thing. Like
20 bells.
that whole conversation leading from the time he sat down and he excused everybody else, and from that point up until the end of his story, the whole thing, that whole 5-minute interaction was a giant red flag, or at least it should have been a red flag.
should have been.
If anybody else had been sitting there, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, Master Yoda, anybody,
They would have been like, whoa.
they would have been lightsabers drawn and
Right.
be like, okay,
Right. I think Anakin was just in disbelief. I guess I don't. It still doesn't make any sense.
They
Could
knew.
have been in disbelief.
he
They
was in
knew.
a rough position
That's what I was going to
through
say.
that whole movie.
Because you got to look, everything around him was literally falling apart.
Yes.
everything, like the trust that he was gaining for his for Obi-Wan, right? Was
started
there. It was
dwindle.
building. It was building. Fell apart. He lost his mom. He's already starting to listen to a Sith, and now listening to the Sith. Even before he was into the Sith, he wanted that position where he could be a master Jedi. And what did they tell him? Oh, you will never be in that type of position. So what's the point of him doing what he's doing? He keeps telling you guys he wants to learn more. He wants to be stronger. He wasn't saying it in a way of like, in the beginning when he first said it, he wasn't saying in a way of like, no, I want to know the things that you guys don't know. He was saying it's like, well, you guys are this strong. You guys are able to do all these things. I want to be able to do that. At first, that's what he was saying. Then you saw where it turned, and he was like, no, I want to be like beyond you guys. Like, all right, man, what do you mean by that? Like when he was really pushing it, and it was at one point he was arguing with Obi-Wan. He was like, "You're holding me back. I want to be able to be doing these things." That was before he knew about being able to save Padme. Before he even had that nightmare, he was tripping, and I didn't notice that at first. When I started picking up, I was like, "Oh, this dude really did have a dark force in him." Like way before it was really showing. So it's like,
Well, you gotta
oh,
remember.
Palpatine's your daddy. Like that's the first thing I started popping in my head now. It's like, yo, he probably is your dad. Because it's like, how do you just have that dark force in you? They took you from that other planet, which I don't have my notes.
Tatooine.
Yes.
Tatooine, yeah.
But I mean, you gotta remember, he's been dabbling with the dark side and kind of playing with it since Attack of the Clones. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say the instance with the Tusken Raiders was based off of raw emotion. You know,
Okay, yeah.
like it wasn't really like, he clearly wasn't in his right mind. Mother had literally just died in his arms, so
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, and then you start watching the Clone Wars series, looking into that, there's, I don't know, like 3 or 4 instances that I've counted where he's either attempted to choke the life out of somebody, he impaled a dude through the chest.
Yes.
But if I'm not mistaken, both of which are not a part of the Jedi Code.
Yeah.
Choked, who was the Geonosian? He basically choked the life out of him to the
Yeah.
point where, somebody, I forget, did he finish him off or did
No, he
did
didn't
not.
finish him.
And then there might have been another. There was that fist fight. He got into that dude that was trying
Yes.
to,
Get with Padme, yeah.
get friendly with Padme.
And
Beat him to a pulp.
then let's not forget also Obi-Wan. Oh, you saved me 21 times. 22. I was like, oh. And it was like they pick up. I was like, I was like, no, that's a big deal. That's some dark humor.
Actually,
Okay.
that right there was the biggest one. That it was. I think it was like a 2-part episode they had, where Obi-Wan had faked his death
Yes.
to go undercover, and
lost his
Anakin
mind.
completely lost his mind with that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they
even the instance with Ahsoka and Barra Sophie,
Yeah.
that lightsaber battle they had in the
Yes.
you could clearly see he was not, I mean,
Yeah. He was really touching the dark side on that.
But then I asked this before, and I want to see if you have an answer to it now, because we didn't have an answer to it before. You too. When he was having that conversation with, I think it was Yoda. Remember I talked about it. I said it scared the living crap out of me when he had the hood on, and you couldn't see nothing but his eyes. And I was like, dude, that scared the crap out of me. And he was like, I can see you're battling with something. No shit. Like, how do you just see his eyes with a hood on his head and there's nothing else seen?
that's like
What?
dark.
That's dark. You
just
notice what I'm
dark.
talking about,
Yeah,
right?
That's just dark. It's
Like-
like there's, I mean, this is like a page out of Palpatine's playbook from Phantom Menace. Like, all you see is the little bottom half of his mouth, nothing else in between. You might catch a glimpse of his eyes, but it's like you're talking about some dark dabblings here now.
Yes.
This is like,
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's still there. Where? Like, where?
They're still good at him. I
This is
see
like
it.
Luke on the second Death Star trying to tell Palpatine that my father is still in there. So
Like,
where?
Let me hold on. My glasses don't see that. Like, clean that up because I'm trying to see what you see. Like,
Yeah, it's like
it's not possible.
I mean, Obi-Wan phrased it perfectly. Vader's more machine now than man.
man,
And the bit of man that's left is completely checked out.
That's checked out. But then the part, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up because it makes me mad, man. When they cut the mask and then part of him was still there, like for a quick second, I was just like, "Damn it, Anakin! Like you're there." And then he's like,
They have
"But he's
they have
dead."
photos of that too.
Yeah.
They have photos of it. They have a side by. I know what scene you're talking about in the Kenobi series when Obi-Wan slashes
Yep.
that piece down his helmet. Yeah, there's
And
like a
then-
brief moment where his eyes change from that like yellow, sick yellow and red to a slight blue. You might see a
And
little.
he's just, yep.
You can't tell if it's sweat or a tear. People say it's a tear. I think it's sweat.
And
but
then he actually, I think he said, I forgot what he said. I could have sworn he said help. He said something. He said something to him.
it was like a faint whisper though. It
Yes.
wasn't even like.
It wasn't even dude, that's the other thing. I'm sorry. I'm flipping this up just again. Faint whisper. So how many times, I don't know if you heard about this. They said that, and I replayed it. I'm not even lying to you. 50 goddamn times. 50. When they save Anakin, Palpatine. When they come down and save him after they didn't use the Force to push him in.
Right.
Okay. When they're laying him on the table, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know
They
exactly
laid him
what
on the
you're talking
table. I don't know if you heard about this because if you did, you wouldn't be looking like the way you're looking.
Yeah, I'm confused.
They laid him on the table. They're putting the Vader mask on him. He's
scared.
He's scared, and you hear him say, "Remember, he can't really talk." He's saying, "Help me, Padme."
Oh.
He is saying that shit, and I was like, "No, that's bullshit." Rewind it. No, he's saying it. You hear it, like you can hear it. He says it. That dude was scared. He did not want to
You
become
didn't even have
Darth
to hear him
Vader.
talk.
He
All you
didn't.
had to do was look at his face,
Yeah.
and you can see a true sense of
Yeah,
fear
he
on
was-
his
I-
face
in
as
the
they're
face I
lowering the
saw it.
mask.
Yeah,
His face I saw,
He
but-
did not want to become Darth Vader at that point. He was done. He's like, man, look, this was wrong. Everything was made up, which makes sense when the mask got cut. Part of it came back, but then also, didn't you say it happened also in the
The Rebel series.
Yes, with
So, from what I believe, and also I think I heard about this, where
Okay, I know what scene you're talking about.
Obi-Wan cuts his mask,
Yes.
and you kind of get Anakin, but then he's like, "You didn't
It
kill
snaps
him."
back
Yeah,
almost.
he snaps back.
It's like instantaneous. It's only
Only brief, and then Ahsoka in the Rebel series cuts his mask. Similar thing. It kind of like he kind of there, but like no, snaps right back into Darth Vader. It wasn't until Luke was able to get the full mask off. So we got bits and pieces, not pizza, bits and pieces of Anakin being chipped at by the people that cared for him and loved him. But this is his own son now saying, "No, Dad, I got you. I want you to come back." So you might have loved one, you might have people that you care for to chip away and kind of bring you back. But it's not until the one your only begotten children are the ones that save you. So I think that's what it was. But
now. With that being said, Vader gave him a hell of a run for his money, though.
oh, and Obi-Wan,
You want no Luke.
yeah,
You want to talk about stubborn? Like this was like.
yes.
I mean, now I don't know if you caught it, but there's glimpses, Chris. I'm not sure if you might have caught it either. When Luke gets dropped off by the AT-AT in Return of the Jedi on Endor,
Yes.
after being captured, you know, Vader, Luke, they have their brief dialogue. Vader clearly he's sidestepping the topic of the whole conflict and whatnot. But as soon as Luke exits off screen, you see Vader have that moment of what may have been, obviously he had his mask on, so you wouldn't really tell, but you can almost kind of tell from a posture standpoint of possibly signs of regret.
yeah. You kind of saw that too a little bit in Empire Strikes Back when he's holding C-3PO's head, in that room where he captures Han Solo, because it's his past, and it's catching up to him. I remember making you, and then you are my son. So this brief moment, especially when he's offering him to come join him, because it's always been we're gonna get rid of Palpatine. So you can always tell, especially in Empire Strikes Back, that he wants his son to help him to rule over the galaxy. Yeah, it's
Now,
I feel, because I'm a father too, so I feel it.
you had hinted that you had something mind blowing of your own that you have neglected
Yes,
to
I
share
haven't
with
told you
any
yet.
of us.
But
I tried wearing them
told you.
down on the ride here, but you wouldn't crack.
All right, if you're ready for this,
You wouldn't
now,
crack. I'm ready.
I know you've played the game. I don't know how far you got. Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Have you played that, Chris? Jedi Survivor.
Some of it. I didn't play a lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this.
I
it's
got
probably
right
spoiled.
before the scene where you're supposed to meet Boba Fett.
Okay.
I think.
All right. So
Or
this
to
is
that point.
for you guys. This is spoilers. For some of y'all might be. Some of you might not. All right. But it's also Did you see Ahsoka?
Parts.
Did you see Ahsoka?
Parts.
Okay. This
I
also
could
gonna
not
be
make it through that whole show.
Also-
I'm not gonna make it through.
also gonna be a little spoilers. But
That's fine.
here we go. I wrote it down, and I gotta read word for word. So don't judge me. All right, here we go. In Ahsoka, by the end of the series, we are taken to where the Night Sisters originally came from. In Star Wars Survivor, Cal finds a planet where the Jedi can go to be safe and secure. And that's towards the end of the game. Now, we know that the sequel or the last game for Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, I don't know what the next game is going to be called. They're going to explore more on that because in the end of Survivor, you actually get to the other planet.
So there is a third game.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be a third
There's
game.
going to be a third game.
Okay.
Let's see where. Now, what if that's where we can get a new wave of Jedi? If the Force was unbalanced when the Sith came back, okay, because that's what they kept saying, it's unbalanced. The Force, it's unbalanced. We're able to take victory when the Sith were able to take victory that they had. What if the Force is trying to self-correct itself by having the Jedi out in the outer rim to train and come back? And this way, because we got bits and pieces with Luke Skywalker with his own training, and that kind of failed. But if we're talking about Legends, which isn't canon, you see small little fractions of maybe Jedi coming back. And what if that's what they're trying to, at least Star Wars or Disney's trying to get to, as far as, all right, look, we got it, because there's a couple of new movies coming out that aren't Jedi related, but how long can we keep no Jedis involved? That doesn't make any sense. So
I mean, as far as the whole Disney's methodology of making Star Wars movies, they have a log history and a virtual library of potential material that could potentially be made into films just based off of what we had from Old Republic,
right.
Legends, lore. There's so much that they have at their disposal now that they own rights to Star Wars. And the fact that they choose not to use it
I was gonna say that.
infuriates me to an extent that I cannot express into words, at least
That's
on
true.
camera.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So,
But that was just a thought, because the Night Sisters came from, I can't remember the name of the planet, but the Night
Dathomir.
Sisters. No, well, that's in the
oh, you're talking about another planet.
yeah, because in the Ahsoka series, the Night Sisters originally come from this off-world planet. That's where Thrawn and Ezra were.
Oh, okay. You're talking about that world that's beyond
Right.
the outer. Okay, so
Right.
you're talking.
Yeah. And in,
okay.
And in
All right.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor, he has to travel to a long distant planet that was in the High Republic era, but was cut off. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well,
It had a very specific name. I literally can't remember
I
off the
can't
top of my
remember
head.
either. But we need, if we're gonna have the movies that they're gonna do, but it's no Jedi's involved. It might be a couple here and there, but if the ending of the next game that comes out explores getting more Jedi's to go over there, because remember in Obi-Wan series they had people trying to get survivors. I know this isn't the right term, but the underground underground railway for Jedi's to survive when
No, I know what
the
you're
Empire
talking
was
about.
trying to come after the rest of the Jedi.
Yeah.
What if they get these people to go to that planet, and they get to that planet, and they're saved, and then eventually down the line we'll get Jedi's to come back.
It's an interesting thought. Like I said, I didn't get far enough in the game, or at least the most recent game, to really feel like I can discuss the topic heavily.
Okay.
But I saw clips of how the game ended, so I have an idea of what you're talking about. You're talking about that it was like some other dimension, or not dimension, but like a
Far
dimension,
beyond
I guess,
the outer
or
realm,
something.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I can't remember that. I literally just watched a movie or a show that used that as an example not that long ago, and I can't remember. I mean, that's a pretty good thought, though.
Yeah. And the only reason why, because Annabelle started playing the game, and they talked about it. I said, wait a minute, what if? Because they have to finish that game. They have to finish that game in that storyline. So what if that's the planet that they go to, that people can go to or already been there, and then whatever future movie Disney comes out with, they'll say, hey, Jedi was here, and you'll know if you watched or played X game.
Yeah.
Now, you and I talked about this on the car ride over, but and before, but I'm not sure, Chris. Have you played the Force Unleashed games, both of them?
The first one I played it. The second one I got distracted by other games, so
Now-
I never really got to play the second one.
Again, I could be mistaken. I'm not sure who was in charge of. I believe Lucas still owned Lucasfilms
During
when
the-
that
during
second
the-
game
Oh yeah,
released,
yeah.
right?
I know the first one for sure he did. The second one, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't definitively say who, so don't sue me over it. But apparently we were supposed to get a third game that was supposed to be a Star Killer and Darth Vader cooperative game in a in a game environment that was destructible. And when I finally found out about that, and I started hearing like little details about it, and then hearing that Disney just outright canceled the project, killed me. I loved both of those games.
I love the first one. The first one, I played it so many times. I literally just knew the game by the
It's
back of my
so
hand at that
good.
point.
Like the story was just great.
It was.
That's
why
so
I'm mad.
good.
That's why I'm mad never to play the second one. Which I mean, I could play it now, but it's been so long since I played the first one. Like,
It's so good.
yeah. But to
So
know
good.
that there was supposed to be a third one is,
It's almost depressing.
yeah, it is. But that's how I felt about which one was it? Star Wars. It's not Battlefront, is it? It had like no campaign mode. It was strictly online.
That might have
was
been
a-
Battlefront.
It was a freaking war zone.
It
man.
was.
That game.
Did you
was
get the
fun.
beta? Did you play the beta for that game?
No,
You
I-
want to talk about a war zone? That beta was a war zone.
Shoot.
It was insane. Like you had like, it was a battle of the fittest on that
That's-
platform.
That
Like
game was needed. Like,
yes,
I just wish it wasn't with so many microtransactions. It like ruined the game. It ruined it.
oh no, it was glitchy. It was terrible. Like it was. I mean, it
But
was awful.
The whole thing to know that you had, all right, you had Jedis, you had stormtroopers, you had people flying in
They had Palpatine flying,
yes,
like
yes.
hovering and
Dog,
flying,
you-
and just sending bolts
the-
of force lightning.
the online thing is like is
It was
It's off
intense.
now, but they still have like the CPU in it. If you can get it cheap, get it. Just try it out. You
Play
will-
at your own risk, though.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Like you will feel your blood pressure rise several ticks.
Because as you're like hey, I'm gonna take down this ship right here. While you're saying that, you have about 2,700 people fighting around you.
Yes.
And then one of them is gonna be like, hey, look at this guy. Let me just snipe him real quick. And
Literally, you're gonna have somebody that's like off by themselves, you know, on like a hillside in Hoth somewhere, while you're running through the trenches. Next thing you know, you got a blaster bolt hitting you in the face from 200 feet away,
I
and
played.
you're trying to figure out where the hell it came from.
I played Battlefront 2. I couldn't really get past it, and the only reason why I got that game because I'm a storytelling guy. Like I love to play stories, but the woman they had playing for main storyline, that's all I cared for.
The story in that story mode in that game was interesting. It was interesting. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
Like the, I mean, I'll just be brave and I'll just outright say it. The combat setup in that game was not my favorite.
Yeah, I didn't.
Not my favorite.
I didn't care for the
Now
game.
the ship to ship battle was on point.
Yes.
On point. I think, and I hate ship to ship battle for whatever reason because I can never, you know, figure out the
How to fly it.
yeah correctly.
Yeah.
Or efficiently enough where I could actually do some damage. But in this game, I mean, you had Slave 1, the Millennium Falcon, you had TIE fighters, TIE interceptors. I mean, you had the first order.
you had everything.
You had
wanted
everything you could have
in
ever
the
wanted.
game.
Yes.
That's why I say I feel like
You
these
had
games-
Maul's Sith Interceptor at one point. Like, dude,
Yeah.
how often do you ever see? We've never seen that in a game.
you literally got everything you wanted, plus the things you didn't know you wanted. But
Yes.
but then it was just like, what's next? And it's not like a what's next. Like, all right, what can you guys possibly do next? Like, no, like what is next? Like, give me something else.
give me more.
Give me more of this. Like,
They
I want-
actually figured out a way to make the TIE bombers interesting. How often does that ever happen? Like, those were the two ships I never played as. Was the
Yes.
TIE bomber and then, oh god, I can't remember what the Rebellion's bomber was. It had those. You remember, Chris?
I
Yeah,
think I know you're talking about.
yeah. It's got the two what you call it, and then it's got the cockpit in front.
In front of it?
Yeah, it's.
Those are bombers too. I think they're just bombers. I think you had your TIE bombers because they named it TIE because of the Star Empire, but then you had your bombers or X bombers, X-wing bombers or something like that. I don't know. I recently watched
they're
Rebels. so-
definitely bombers. I know that, but the fact that they made it interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
You made everything about this game interesting, which is to me. There's multiple questions I have now, like, and I was like thinking about like just sitting here thinking about this right now. I had multiple questions. One, when it comes to the game side, right? Battlefront 1 or 2. Which one was it where not everyone could play as Darth Vader, but the people who could, it was like a freaking reward to be on that field.
It might have been both, but in Battlefield 2 or Battlefront, my God,
Is where you,
Battlefield
is
2,
where you could
Battlefront
use
2.
the force power
Yeah.
to choke people.
Yes.
And you could do all type. You didn't get to do all that?
Like I said, I only played Battlefront 2.
Dude,
You missed on it. Okay, everything that Vader did. We got to talk about that next. Everything that Vader did in Rogue One,
Oh, he
you
did.
could do it
Okay.
in Battlefront. Like,
Darth Maul's control mechanics in that game was something I have never experienced before in Battlefront ever. I mean, he was like Battlefronts 1 and 2 that we had when we were younger,
Right.
when we were kids. That was great. I mean, that was like, you know, that was the standard for, at least for me anyway, when it came to certain Star Wars games. But I mean, the way they did it for this though, like you're doing stuff like he's like doing flips and dodges, and like you had all the different force abilities and everything. Palpatine summoning Sith storms, like
That's amazing.
it's the things that, like I said, rewards and treats that you didn't know you wanted.
Yep.
It was just
until
just
you
things.
found hero function.
Yes. Yes.
When I figured out how to do that, I was like, bro, I never went back to the regular thing
No.
until like it was insane.
Like, and it was like everything. all right, this is honestly the best way to put it. Everything you saw when you watched Star Wars as a kid, you're like, dude, they're fighting. This is a war zone. Everybody's killing each other. They're trying to defend each other. That same adrenaline and excitement you had is what you had in Battlefront. So it was something that was just like, man, I needed this. I needed this. But now, since I touched on it, I kind of want to get into it. Rogue One.
Wait. Are we starting a
Oh,
rating, or you just want to talk about it?
I just want to talk about Rogue One
Okay,
just a
okay.
little
Go for
bit.
it, bro.
Just a little
We
bit.
got a
Great.
lot of
It's
time.
It's
So
a
go ahead
great,
and do what
it's
you
a
gotta
great
do.
movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. I never asked for this movie. I didn't want this movie.
Yep.
I didn't care for it when they first announced it. I saw the trailer and I said, well, hold up, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Made you
so
think.
now you're telling me this is the whole, we got the blueprints where this is coming from.
Right.
I still don't want this movie. But yet here I am watching every single trailer as it drops. The second trailer, the third trailer. I'm just like, I'm going to end up seeing this movie. I know I'm going to end up seeing it. I go to see it. And I'm just like, all right,
Blows
this
your
is
mind.
good. This is good. This is great. Oh, man. The main robot dies. Oh, that
Yeah,
sucks.
sucks.
And then I started putting two and two together in my head. Wait, no one's supposed to make it in this movie. Oh no! Oh no!
They had probably the best 2 Death Star scenes I have ever seen. I mean, just seeing what happened, how director Krennic gets wasted at the end of the film.
Right.
I mean, at least you can't say he went out in a boring fashion. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he
right.
got like point blanked by the Death Star.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But it also shows you when you
It
follow
answers
the
a lot
Sith,
of questions.
when you follow the Sith. Everyone that used to, because remember, there was people who used to say, "Oh, it's Sith rules. Sith is this, Sith is that." Sith ain't really shit.
No.
Your whole team is dead.
Right.
Like, hey, we still got people on the front line. Don't matter.
Everybody's disposable.
They're disposable.
Well, I forget who said it, but somebody they gave a very, I think, good comparison of what the Sith of dabbling with the dark side is. They compared it to a drug habit, a hardcore drug habit.
Okay. Okay.
Like, you know,
can't-
they compared
can't
it to
kick
like a steroid habit. You know, you get
you hooked on it.
quick boost of power, you're hooked on it, but in the end, you're gonna end up dealing with a lot, just a lot of bad things.
Yep.
And I think that was a pretty good way of giving something like that some actual realism as
Yeah.
far as
No, it definitely was, because you got to think about it. If you were like, if you're a stormtrooper, right? And like the one lady, it was the lady. But this was in the Rise of Skywalker. The lady who was a stormtrooper, but she had the piece that
Oh, Phasma.
Yes. So someone like her, right? Let's say if she was on that, if she was there, she was on the front line battling, right?
Right.
Even she was disposable. Like when you think about that, it's just like, bro, no one matters. If
No.
you're not the Sith
No.
or one of the Siths that's supposed to be next
you
up,
are expendable.
you are expendable as hell. You are nothing. So it's like, why would you even fight for him? So when I saw Finn decide, like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. Is he the first one to say this? Like,
I have a question. 'Cause this guy,
I knew he
this
was going to
guy
bring
always-
this up.
Now listen,
You're gonna get a lot.
listen.
Okay.
We all know that the original sequel trilogy wasn't what it's supposed to be. You know this, right? You know George actually had a story.
He
Now-
had
now
a script
it's-
for all 3
he had a
films, and Disney basically said, "Fuck you, George," and threw them in the trash.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, we got what we got. Disney gave us what we got. Finn defects from the First Order, and pretty much throughout the movie, especially the second movie and the third movie that they got in the sequels, he always could sense something was wrong with Rey. you can't sense nothing if you don't have higher metachlorians, which AKA the Force. There's been talks that Finn could have been Force sensitive, and the story could have went a whole lot more better had they just ran with it. Because now let's get Faye, not Faye. What's her name? Let's get Rey. Cool. Everybody knows that the sequel trilogy is pretty much the original trilogy all over again. But if you put in Finn with Force sensitive wise, could have been a better story.
Bro, he was a story. Okay, this was the giveaway. This was the giveaway. This was the dead giveaway. When in the the first movie when he fights
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Come on,
That guy.
bring him back, please. Bring him back. When he's fighting him, and he's going toe to toe.
How do you
How
go
are
toe
you
to
going
toe
toe to toe?
with somebody who's trained
And
under Luke,
you
who
cut
is
him.
descended from Anakin?
He cut him. He freaking cut him. He cut him, and then Now Finn took that.
I'm just saying.
Now Finn did take that gash up the back.
He
Like,
sure did. He sure did.
So
Yeah.
me and Kev have been arguing about this now for the better part of 2.5 years. Easily. Since you and I became coworkers the
Right.
first time.
Right.
So I still don't see it. I get what you guys are saying. He briefly went toe to toe with Kylo Ren. But
so he was supposed to
can't
be
really-
in a
I
vegetable
can't-
state for a whole movie.
Yeah, but that I can't say that he's Force sensitive just based off of that. Like, we need more, a little more.
Not just the fight scene, but the way that he could sense Rey. He can sense when she was in trouble or stuff like that.
He had an unhealthy obsession with Rey. Yes, we've established that.
Look,
But-
Disney made him
I'm not gonna deny it. It was kind of unhealthy.
It was an unhealthy obsession
It
with
was.
Rey,
It
and
was.
that's what I'm attributing that to.
A very
That
frustrating
dude
thing.
walked around like a new puppy. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about, but I think I had a headache about halfway through like the third movie.
And mind y'all, we're not talking about John Bodega. He did a great job. So, John, if you ever
Disney
see
set
this,
him up for a fail.
Yeah, they
Disney,
set you up for
Disney
he
set
knows
him
it.
up. The writers set him and directors set him up for a fail.
Right.
We're not again questioning the actor.
Right. Because I'm just saying, it was hints that they were going to go that way, but then I guess when they didn't,
It went so far south of center, it's not even
Exactly.
funny.
that, and then they just made him somebody who's unhealthily obsessed over somebody else. And
stalkerish.
yeah, and it
Oh, yeah,
was
definitely.
sad to see because I'm like, there's a story right there of a defective stormtrooper,
Which we've never had before. This is new stuff.
Right.
Like, that's why I was kind of looking forward to this when I first saw it. I was like, wow, cool, we're getting something fresh. And then
Right.
we got a steaming load of something else.
No, we did.
Yep.
So,
That's what we did.
and it seemed like it just went even farther south, like as the second and third movie happened.
just kept going downhill, and that's why. Because when you said, "Oh yeah, Finn was no Force sensitive," and I was like, there was a story, and you can tell they went on the rails with it in the second movie. That whole space chase scene was retarded.
I don't
to
even
me.
know where that. I don't even know what that was based
yeah.
off of. So, on that note, I'm just gonna kick off my first movie.
Oh,
Of
okay.
Just based since we're already talking about
Are we
it.
going from top to bottom?
I'm going from bottom to top.
Okay,
As
so
far as what my least favorite to
so
my favorite.
and we're separating this from like movies and shows,
Yes.
different category,
Okay.
but lists like that.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah.
Since we're already on Force Awakens, that's what I have as my least favorite out of the 9.
Okay.
Just and hear me out. So, and I'm probably gonna end up, repeating this a couple times. But for me, Force Awakens ended up being almost like a New Hope bootleg that went horribly wrong.
Yep. No, wait. Force Awakens.
7.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
when Han Solo was still alive.
Once
Yeah.
he was still alive. All right.
Oh
And
god, that was like
Anakin-
the biggest insult to injury of them all.
And-
You know,
Anakin-
like that just came out of nowhere.
and-
Like they're
and-
having a good conversation, then bam, right through the chest.
He wanted out.
Yeah, Harrison Ford
He
did one
said
out.
when he saw where they were going with it, he was like, "No, I
don't wanna
want
be a
out."
part of this.
He did not want to be part of it. He
Well,
said
that's how
he
Mark
said in an
Hamill
interview.
was in the next movie. He
Yeah.
said the exact same thing. I don't want any part of this anymore.
He said because he did say he said he was told one thing when it was leading up to shooting the film, but as it got closer to shooting date, they said, "Hey, listen, things change. This is what's going to be." He's like, "I want to die."
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, "I want to die." I'm like, well, we don't really have.
Well,
that
he
in the
is
movie.
known for doing that.
Yeah.
If he's not feeling, completely like, 100% about a film, he'll be like, no, just write me out or, have something happen. I mean, he did that with a few films, if I'm not mistaken. Quite a few, actually. I mean,
But that was kind of a sign. Like when that happened, I was like, okay,
this is not good.
this is not.
This is not looking good for us.
Why does he want to die in this movie? I was
These
like,
are not the movies you're looking for.
No, they are not. That goes back to that Instagram post that I had sent you with. So it's Rey and Palpatine facing off in The Last Skywalker. And you hear Palpatine say, "I am all the Sith," and Rey just goes, "And I am all the Jedi." And the next thing you know, you just got Mace Windu's like, "No, you're not." And then I think it was,
Pretty much Yoda, Obi-Wan.
oh my god, it was
Qui-Gon.
great. They were all just roasting
just
her
all
character.
She's
And even Yoda was like, "Anger leads to hate, watching you leads to suffering."
yo,
I was like, bro, I don't know who this person is that made this, but that was just savage. But, that's my, that would be my number 9, or least favorite. Least favorite.
okay. I didn't do a least favorite. So if you want to, did you do a least favorite, Chris?
remember, my list is small,
Oh,
like
okay.
very small. I don't like none of the new films. To be
Okay.
honest with you, my list is very small. You better.
Elijah, you about yay tall, bro. That jump for you was like jumping off a cliff, bro. Don't do that.
You are active today.
Yeah.
Usually just sit
I was going to say, normally he sits there quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know. He also doesn't feel well right now. So juice. There's no more.
I got water.
You want some water?
Some H2O? No. I feel the same way. If I had something sweet to drink, I wouldn't even drink. I wouldn't even have these 2 bottles here.
Yeah.
But if you want to keep going, Greg, you can.
All right. My number 8's The Last Jedi. And only reason it's, I like Yoda.
Okay.
I love Yoda. But again, kind of goes back to my feelings towards Force Awakens. For me, it ended up. Now, I don't know if you picked up, but for me, this just just jumps out at me now. But watching certain parts of the film, I'm just watching bits that they're taking from the original trilogy. So
Yeah.
that Walker scene at the end, beginning of Empire Strikes Back, the scene with Snoke, Kylo, Rey, it's Vader, Luke, and Palpatine.
Right.
Yeah.
Only they've changed environments. They even gave them the same damn throne. They couldn't even have come. They couldn't even have gone original with that.
Right.
And I think the biggest, finger to the community is seeing how they treated Luke.
True.
I can add to that. The other biggest thing they did was trying to be sneaky and make you think that Kylo Ren was going to become the next Vader. Remember, he kept holding the mask. They teased it in the first one. They teased it. They really teased it. And then they had a nerve to play the freaking music in the first one, too, at the end. And then in one of the trailers for the film you just said, in one of the trailers, they do it again, where you see him holding the mask, and he sets it down, and there's smoke, and they're playing the music. That was the second trailer.
Right.
Then in the movie, he crushes the mask. It's like, dude, what the why did y'all do this? What
Yeah.
was your purpose of
That's
doing
what I'm
this?
saying. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for how they chose to produce these films. Like, none of it makes sense.
Right.
Like, I can't even sit through the sequel trilogy anymore without needing an Advil or a Tylenol or just like I think I got so frustrated the one time I just threw my tablet on the ground. And I was like, I can't
watch it.
I can't do this. This is just horrible.
Yeah, man.
Number 7, Last Skywalker.
I'm not surprised.
I love Palpatine. He put on a pretty good show on his coming back. I mean, he put on
didn't.
like, and for me, the way he lost is probably for me as a Palpatine fan, just downright insulting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man, he didn't do unlimited power.
the man. Okay, so the man basically to now go with my logic here. The man more or less destroyed a fleet of starships
By
with
being on ground.
just his force lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're telling me some chick who just found out that she's a Jedi like a year prior took him down just by cross, like, dude, I'm sorry, but you have no, I've checked out.
I think what you just said right there was everybody's problem. It was like, let me get this straight. How did she learn all these abilities, all this information in a year?
From Leia.
From Leia of all
Leia.
people. I love Leia.
Not to say that Leia doesn't have skills, but I
No.
mean, she's not Luke. She's not Yoda.
Right.
To guide her. I mean, she's
I mean, I'm
going
sure
off-
some people would argue saying that she's still the chosen one's daughter,
Right.
and they have that, and apparently, she has that natural ability. Some people would even say, well, I mean, she pulled herself out of space back into an era. I have my own problems with that, but I'm not going to go into that because that's a whole other conversation. But
I'm not shocked to seeing that because I've seen it before, and then because you put me onto the Star Wars Clone Wars movie before the before the 3D,
it was the two-part
the two-parter one
animation.
where Count Dooku sees Asajj Ventress for the first time, and he hovers, like he's literally hovering over, and then he comes down. I mean, like, ooh, we Superman? how are we just hovering over her like that? Like, look, I never saw the Force used that way, so that's why I'm letting that slide. With
Apparently,
the
that was actually a ability though.
whole, okay.
Was force? They called it force hover. I don't know. I think it's just people trying to fill, the gap for certain things. But I mean, it's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of cool. It's interesting, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't really count it as a force ability.
No.
In all honesty, but I mean, those were my gripes, if you want to call them, with the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, the man took down multiple starships at the same time. Same time. Like, he is the guy, at least up to this point, as far as the Sith is concerned. He is the one and only Sith at this point.
right.
Yeah.
And
Well, the only one actually, because
the only, right.
Kylo Ren never really was, and by this point, he decided to be with Rey.
I'm not even really sure what Kylo was at that point. Like,
I
to
don't
be
think
honest
he
with you,
knew
like, I
either.
can't even really call him a Sith.
He wasn't, and it goes back to the writing. They didn't know what they were doing with him
No.
because he wasn't committed. I don't know, but
I mean, I'm not even sure if I could truly call him a Sith. I mean, yeah, he had a red lightsaber. He had a bit of a, he had tantrums. But I mean,
Yeah.
I can't really like,
more.
yeah.
Like, okay, what are we watching here? What are we watching here? Did you ask for more like that? Calm down. Stop it. Get some help.
You know what I'm saying? though?
Yeah.
It's like you can't like. I'm not really sure like
Right.
what I can say with that. I guess my number 6 is Attack of the Clones.
Okay. So from least to great, least to good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Least
okay.
the best.
Right.
And again, this is just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
The audience can make their own decisions.
Yeah, y'all can either agree with us or and write down in the comment section your rating of Star Wars. Where do you put them movies and TV shows? But yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I'm a huge Jango Fett fan.
Okay.
I love Jango Fett. I played the game. He's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
There's a comic where he kills 6 Jedi with his bare hands in the Civil War, Jedi Mandalorian War.
Okay. Yeah.
Apparently, his friend gets cut in half by a Jedi, which is interesting because, again, that's not the Jedi way.
Right.
No, it's not.
But he goes berserk and ends up killing them with his bare hands. 6 of them with his bare hand. I mean, obviously that's different from it. I mean, but this is again just, yeah. I mean, I thought it was a good film. It was. We got a good story for what we got. I would have liked to seen a little bit more action. But I think as a stepping stone to the 3rd film, it was very well done. I think it was well done.
Yeah.
My number 5, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
It was a good ending to 3 films.
Yeah.
To 3 really good films.
Yeah.
Chosen One's redeemed.
And the Empire no longer hovers over the galaxy.
The Empire no longer exists. I love the way that they changed up the end of the film. Now you get, you see all the different planets celebrating Palpatine's death and the end of the Empire. It'll cue to Coruscant actually at the end of the film, and you see them ripping down his statue with the Jedi Temple off in the background. I mean, I love the scene with on Endor with the Ewoks when they take them prisoner, and 3PO is trying to do his thing, and Han's having an argument with him, and he's like, just do what I freaking tell you to do, and 3PO's like, I'm sorry, sir, but that would be a violation of my programming, and he's like. You can see Han getting more and more pissed off as the interaction's going. My number 4 is A New Hope.
Okay.
I mean, it's the original that started it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original that started it all.
No more than
No, I mean, really not much to say other than that. I mean, and I know you've probably seen it too, and probably Chris has as well, but you see people complaining that the fight between Vader and Kenobi could have been better. It's the late 70s.
They didn't,
what are you expecting from the set? I mean, I think what we got
was good.
Was probably the best that special effects could have been for the time that we had it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
if they were to redo it, of course it would be better.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember what time period these movies are taking place in.
And the actors at themselves, because the actor that played Obi-Wan,
he never even wanted to play Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Never even wanted.
And then he's old, so he's not gonna be. I mean, that spin that we got a couple times that's all you gonna get.
Right.
So you can't argue.
Now
with that.
I know you've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it too. The fan film of that fight,
Yes.
that has been redone, was amazing. Amazing.
Fire.
But yeah, I mean, I think number 4 is a good slot for it, just based off of what we got in the time frame that we got, and it's a great film.
Yeah,
it was a great film. I mean, I can rewatch the original trilogy.
I can sit there all day.
I literally sit there all day and rewatch it.
Yeah,
and it won't get old, and I'll always find something new.
Yeah,
which is what I love about these films.
Yeah,
you always find something different that you never noticed before. So for my number 3, Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Love the Phantom Menace. Don't care what people say.
Started us off.
I don't know why people hate on the prequel series. I love them. I mean, probably mostly because those were the films I saw in the theaters as a child.
Yeah, as a child.
So for me, that's that happy memory.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm a huge Darth Maul fan. I love Darth Maul. The man was a beast.
Yeah.
Wish they didn't kill him off.
Yeah, I was surprised to see, but it wasn't so much that they killed him off. It was who killed him off that surprised me.
Yes.
It was who killed him off.
Yeah.
If anything, I was expecting Qui-Gon to do him in like halfway through that,
the fight. But I mean, we did get him back in the Clone Wars series, so and a little bit
more
in
psychotic
Rebels.
than ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, we're supposed to get him back in another series.
Yeah, his own series. So shout out to Sam. Sorry
Whitworth?
if I messed your name.
Whitworth? Was it Whitworth?
Whitworth
I could be
or-
completely wrong.
yeah,
I don't know.
Shout out to you, Sam. Sorry for messing up your name, but you're a legend. Everybody knows you.
I thought you had your names written down now.
No, not for this one. For other movies.
Yeah, I mean, we got to, this started everything. This was the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
At least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a New Hope, but, this is...
This is for us. It started us off.
That, and I love that we get to see Coruscant for the first time. Really get to see Coruscant,
Not just heard about it.
not just hear about it, but you actually get to see it. You see how the Senate is and all that. And I love those hover...
Other cars.
Yeah, those things. Like that's
That's amazing because they're all zipping by and nobody hits nobody. We need to learn how to do
that's the
that.
thing. How do they control them? Does anyone actually know how to have? Does it come out of the tower, or
They
is it
never
like
showed you the inside, which would have been sick
right?
to see that.
Because it's like, how do they do that? How do they get all those different things just moving around at the same time without, like you said,
Hitting,
colliding or hitting each other?
At top speeds.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Especially at top speeds. That is insane.
Yeah.
That's a lot of trust.
I mean,
It's a lot of
It's
trust.
a lot of trust. That's a whole lot of trust.
Oh, I trust you. I can make this turn.
Yeah.
it's like, how do we do this without making this a game of bumper cars?
Right.
So, I mean, think about it. Like, there's thousands of those Senate pods.
Yeah.
Thousands. And you got to think, like, depending on what row you're in, you're probably a few hundred feet up in the air. So it's like the last thing you'd want is these things colliding into each other. I mean, then again, I mean, look how far Yoda fell when he,
In the Senate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, look how far Yoda fell, and he's tiny.
Yeah.
He's probably about Elijah's
Elijah's
size.
size.
Yeah.
And then he fell from what, a good like 100 foot in the air,
Yeah.
and he hit hard.
Yeah.
That was nuts. My number 2, Empire Strikes Back.
Okay. Yeah.
I love Empire Strikes Back. That scene on Hoth with the AT-AT walkers, the snow speeders. I mean, come on, Vader and Luke, they're
Yes.
fighting it out for the first time. We get Yoda. Like, there was so much said between those conversations,
Yeah.
just those conversations towards the end of the film, where, like, yeah, you need, like, a Yoda to English translator, but, it's like, when you actually listen to what he's saying, you're just like, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, so much happens. So much happens. Yeah, I love that film though, because
Yeah.
you also get Boba Fett for the first
For the
time.
first time. Yeah.
You get Boba Fett. Carbon freezing with Han Solo. I mean, that's classic.
I love you. I know.
It's like, yeah.
Classic, dude.
You might not see her again. You say, I know. That's some shit my old man would say to my mom.
Yeah.
And obviously, my last but certainly not least, Revenge of the Sith.
Yes. Yes.
It's probably, again, my opinion. The audience can make their own opinion. I think it's the best out of the 9.
Yes.
One
I
of the
believe-
best out of the 9.
I believe so,
Certainly in the top 3, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much to process in that span of 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes, and 40 minutes.
It's
It's almost like you're on sensory overload.
yeah.
My only disappointment in this film, again, like you can agree to disagree, or is I think I was expecting a little bit more with that final showdown between Master Yoda and Sidious.
I think this should have been more of a fight.
Because you're
scene.
talking about the Master of the Dark versus the Master of the Light, and now I understand, that we also had the fight going on between Obi-Wan and Anakin running at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're getting a bit of both, but I was expecting a little bit more.
Or a throwdown. Yeah. That's understandable.
Now, not needless to say, what we got
was
wasn't
good. It was good,
was extremely exciting. I mean, Sidious is throwing around these Senate pods like it's a
As a matter of
game
fact,
of
we got
dominoes.
to see him face against the top Jedi and then the second top Jedi.
Yeah,
Because Mace Windu. Yeah, so. And I just want to. Matt Walsh has said that the dialogue, at least Anakin's dialogue, was horrible. But we're coming. If you understand that he was a slave originally, and he kind of had friends, but now he's moved from being a slave to a new Jedi Order where they're telling him what he can and cannot do. I mean, and then he has a crush on somebody who went.
So in this case, it sounds to me like we're getting a review from somebody that either doesn't understand the films
didn't
in their
even care for
entirety,
it.
or he's never even seen the films,
he
and
didn't
he's
even-
just making outright
Yeah,
opinions.
he never really cared for it. So I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, be a critic, but I mean, can you really be a critic to something you're not even giving a chance?
or something that you don't have any actual knowledge about.
Yeah,
You probably never watched the rest of them.
yeah.
No.
So it's kind of like
I'm looking forward to that interview with Siri, because
Yeah.
I think Siri's just gonna rip them, rip them
That's-
apart.
and another thing why I don't care for critics, I don't care for them. Like if you don't already have something, if you're not already invested into something, you should not. Not to say that you shouldn't give your 2 cents, but it's kind of like, don't bash it the way that you're bashing it, and you don't have any real
Prior knowledge of it.
prior knowledge to it.
If
Yeah.
you're gonna now between the three of us, this is about this is a good bit of knowledge. I'm not saying we're experts, but
Right.
we between all three of us, we've seen enough,
To
and
know.
we've where we can at least give our basic 2 cents on the subject.
Yeah.
With this guy, it sounds like he just went to the 20th anniversary filming and
Watched it for the first time.
watched it for the first time, and then just gave a poor review of it when he really has no prior understanding of what the previous films were.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. I got my list. I'm going
Can't
from
wait.
my favorite to lowest. Okay. We have Star Wars Episode 3.
And you said
Revenge of the
favorite to
Sith.
least favorite.
Yeah, favorite to least favorite. Pretty much for the same thing that you stand for. But as a kid, I'm about 14, 15 years old, and the emotions and how Anakin was, what he was going through. Although I wasn't going through the same thing, but I could relate to him as far as just being a teenager and nobody wanting to hear my side of the story. Nobody cared for my side of the story. So that's why I kind of related to Anakin in this movie. So that's why Star Wars, which I knew was going to be your number one, and I knew it was going to be
How
number
could it
one.
not? I mean-
I have a strong feeling.
Well, you and
It's your
it's
number
like,
one.
I mean, it's like you and I were talking.
Not gonna say that.
I mean, you and
He
I.
pretending to eat something. He got nothing about. I know it's your number one pick. It's not okay. Hold on. I got to get through this so I can hear what's number one pick. What were you gonna say?
No, I mean, you and I had a pretty decent idea that
Yeah.
the three of us, at least as far as the films were concerned, we were gonna kind of stack up in the same order. At least as far as least
Yeah.
favorites go.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, I thought my 9 through 7 was gonna kind of throw you off a little bit, at least in the order of
Yeah.
Okay.
of how they suck.
But when
but,
you
know.
explained it, you were going from least to favorite. That made sense. My second is Star Wars Episode 1. To me, that started off, again, as I said in the first one we did, I was a kid growing up watching the original. Who is Anakin? Why did he fall to the dark side so easily? Like, what? Why? And the first episode was pretty much explained. He was a kid. He was a slave. And then 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3 was explained to me, and that's why it's my number one, number 2. My number 3 is Star Wars Episode 6. I love the ending of it. I think it was a good ending, especially if you see 1 through 6. You got the whole story background, especially if you are especially if you are. I tell
Joys
you,
of parenthood.
My heart really fell to my stomach.
but especially if you watch the Clone Wars series, Rebel series, just anything that it all ties into the movies, that pretty much see what the whole galaxy went through, that they were able to come to a victory, a much needed victory. So that's why I like episodes 6 for my number 3. For number 4 is Rogue One.
I
It was
completely forgot about Rogue One. I am
was
ashamed now. I
was
can't
a-
believe I forgot to put that in my in my list.
Yeah.
Number 4 is crazy.
Bro, again, listen. It's a movie nobody asked for, but we got, and I enjoyed it, and I love it.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's in the top 5. I mean, come on. It's like right above my here, number.
Sounds like Chris is starting to throw some fate.
my
your
number,
way,
my
Kev.
number 5. Don't come at me like that. Come on, man. It's at
I mean,
least
it was a great
at
film.
least it's on the list. I mean,
I'll give you that.
yeah.
I mean, if you
For
should be
now.
throwing anyone fate, it should be at me.
That's why I was staring at you. You got
I was
number
gonna say,
1.
'cause I forgot to put it on my
I was
list.
like, oh, this guy, he just, all right.
You just left it out of his list
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah. Yep. My number 5 is Star Wars Episode 2. Not a lot of people cared for the movie. They said it was so dragging and boring, but that was a lot more that we got to see of Anakin, and you start to see him fall into the dark side just a little bit, and we got to see who was the reason why he even fell to the dark side, which essentially is Padme. He lost his mom. His next love interest in his heart is somebody he cares for, and he did all this for a woman. Learn your lessons. Don't do that for a woman. That's not. Don't do that. Shame on you. My number 6 is Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. The iconic line, "Luke, I am your father." Me and my dad would watch
Classic.
that. Yeah, me and my dad would watch
Classic.
that all the time, and he would always say that to me. I'm like, okay,
And I love how Lucas kept it a secret from the cast until filming day.
until the moment they
So
were feeling
that
scene.
reaction we're getting from Mark Hamill is an actual,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Is it-
true blue reaction.
And then so many iconic stuff we get in that movie. I Love You, I Know, the freezing of Han Solo. That's why it's my number 6. My number 7, Star Wars Episode 4, which is New Hope. It was the movie that originally started us off to even get in this realm. So I appreciate the movie for that. My number 8, I think that is Star Wars Episode 7, Star Wars Awaken. And the reason why it's on the list is because I'm a moviegoer first and foremost, and I appreciated the movie for coming back. Don't look at me like that. I appreciated them coming
Dude,
out
that
with
movie
the movie.
makes my skin crawl. I'm sorry.
And I liked it. I felt like it definitely would have been number 1 higher on the list if they went with the Finn aspect.
Here you go.
Why am I being attacked for my list? This is what I like.
We're all subject to scrutiny here. Okay, we're all subject to scrutiny.
I apologize.
Don't sure. You never know. Chris might have something on his list that you just flat out disagree with.
Oh, he's going to disagree about it. He's going to disagree about it.
And my last on the list for my ratings for movies is Solo.
Oh, I totally forgot about
I
it.
like
I actually never
Solo.
even saw Solo.
It again another movie didn't ask for, but we got to see how fast 12 parsecs are, and it was a fun little scene. And especially towards the end, they said they had to put the Darth Maul into it. That wasn't the original plan. They put that in for the last bit of it, but yeah, Solo. I mean, it was a good movie. Got to see Chewie for the first time, where he came from, how Han and Chewie got along, got to meet, and got to
I'll
become
be honest, I
friends.
never
and all
even
that.
watched Solo. I haven't
yeah?
even. I haven't even seen it
It's
yet.
one of those where if you haven't seen it, you're not missing out. But
Okay.
if you wanna,
So it's a good watch, but it's not memorable.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
that's better than just outright sucking.
Yeah. Okay,
We
Chris.
ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Throw
Phone
down.
back. Thank you.
I'm excited now. 'cause
I mean,
you're
I got
'cause
bad
he's
days.
he's like calling you out now.
I
He's like, oh,
didn't-
I know you're gonna have problems with my list.
All right, so I don't have my list with me, so I'm gonna. I remember my list order. So right off the bat, number 1, Rogue One.
Okay.
I'm telling you that right now. Reason being, number 1, like I told you, sitting there watching the movie, I forgot everybody died because
They're not in
I had no intention of watching the movie. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's something worth seeing. Oh, it's how you got the blueprints? All right, cool. There's a Death Star. Oh, they're going to use it. okay. And putting everything together, I was like, all right, this is a good movie. Damn, everybody's dying. Oh shit, this sucks. Wait a minute. That's Darth Vader. Oh.
That scene.
Oh,
That
So,
scene
but I
with
was-
Vader was incredible.
I was already effed up because
Yeah.
like I was like, oh, everybody's dying, and my behind was picturing it as Earth. I was like, oh, this sucks. Like, this really sucks. Nothing is good about this. So I'm like, oh, everybody's dead. So many things rushing through my head at that moment. I was like, dude, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Oh, you got the plans. So the fuck what? Everybody's dead. Like, my mind is racing. I'm like, what? That's all you care about? The damn plans? And I see him do. That's all Vader do. What he did. I was like,
Vader cut through everybody in that hallway. He's just
like it's nothing.
he's just
toying with 'em.
walking right through
Toying
them.
with
Like
'em.
they're not even there.
The one that got me was he put the guy on the roof. Okay, he cut him in half. He threw the other guy on the roof. He walked past and then
then
brought
cut him
it
in
back
half.
up like this and cut him and then cuts the person in front of him. I'm like, no, Anakin. Like, no, that's not okay.
Where's that Force Ghost to Qui-Gon yelling, no!
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Qui-Gon gave up by that point.
Yeah. I would say number 2 is. It would have to be. See, I don't have my list in front of me. This is not good. Star Wars Episode 3. Right off the bat. I'm gonna tell you right now. See, it's number 2. That's where it belongs. Number
Wow,
2.
he said belongs.
Okay, it's about feeling. It's about emotion that goes into a film. Rogue One killed a whole bunch of people. Now, yes, Anakin has slaughtered a lot of people, but nothing compared to Rogue One. So, yeah, he's in it. He's in it, so he did slaughter more, but still, Death Star blew up a whole freaking planet with
Say
people on it.
I'm not going to judge you like you judge me.
Anyway, my next one. Number 3 is New Hope. I would have to. It's this New Hope, and what the time I seen it, that was actually the first film I seen. So for me, it was like, oh, what's Star Wars? Why is everybody hyped about this? Let me see it because I didn't see it when it first came out. So
Yeah.
yeah. So when kids were like,
it's the
oh, we
film that
saw
started
it.
it
It's
all.
cool. You should go see it. I see it. I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. Like immediately, this is
I mean,
amazing.
dude, it's
I
the
like
film that started it all.
Exactly.
Literally.
So
Like,
it's
how
just-
could you not love it? Like,
Yeah, but I didn't think-
regardless of the effects at the time, it's like that's
It
an
was amazing,
afterthought.
especially as a kid. You don't care about no damn
No.
effects. You you're watching it.
No,
So
you're
when
watching dudes attack each other with laser swords. It's like, what's not to love?
Exactly.
Like,
Right.
Oh, not only can you test somebody with laser swords. Oh, there's people out here who can like jump so freaking high, and they're flying around in ships, shooting each other, blowing each other up in space.
Right.
Like, whoa, we're doing all this.
dude, I was on like sensory overload the first time I saw that film.
Yes,
Sensory
yes.
overload. I didn't know what was gonna happen next. Like I was.
And then you get set up for like the most evilest thing that you say, oh, this is awesome. So there's bad people with people that follow them and they shoot for them.
Yeah.
So it's just a whole gang of people wearing these white suits.
Look,
Oh.
look. I think we can count our blessings that stormtroopers are terrible shots because we would have lost like the entire cast right there.
Yep.
I would have to say next would be. It sucks. I don't have my list in front of me. Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Definitely.
Classic.
Then I would have to go into. See, this is one I'm falling off now. This is where I'm falling off. After that, I don't like Rise of Skywalker. That's not on my list. Like not even for the least. I hate that movie, and hate is a strong word.
Understandable.
I don't like
it's
the.
a strong word, but it's the correct
Yeah,
word in
yeah.
this case.
And then Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I hate that. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I hate that one too. Phantom Menace is on my list.
Okay.
I'm not sure what number I'm at now, but Phantom Menace is on my list.
So, so the obviously the sequels are they? Let's just say they're at the bottom, and Phantom Menace. What's the one you just said?
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace is like up there.
Phantom Menace. If I had, see, I don't have my list order, but if I had to say it, it'll be Rogue One, Phantom Menace, Episode 3, and then everything else. Yeah, you just fall into play at that point.
Okay.
You fall into play because those three for me were just like, okay.
Right.
This is like if I was to go back and watch them constantly, I'm watching these first.
Yeah.
I'm watching these ones first. I'm gonna watch episode 3 for 2 reasons. One, I want to be angry. I want to be happy on what he does, but then be like, no, don't do this, don't do this. Every single time I say that to myself.
Dude, it's like a good pre-gym movie.
Yes,
Gets y'all
it gets you pumped
Yeah,
up
it
and
does.
ready to release
just
anger.
the soundtrack. Just the
Yes.
soundtrack. But if I could just say, am I the only one that got pissed off at that statement at the end of Rise of The Last Skywalker when she was like, my last name's my name's Ray Skywalker?
Yeah,
Or am I the only one that almost put a foot through the television screen or movie theater wherever you work? Like, I mean, I don't know. I just
Now, when I went to go see it, because I saw it the day after it came out, everyone in there was just like, we didn't ask for this. Like, literally walking there, everyone's like, we did not ask for this. Like, who the fuck asked for this?
So you were in a theater with true fans.
Yeah,
Of the
because I
movie.
went
Right.
to King of Prussia. So the day after. So the reason I went to King of Prussia because everyone's either gonna go to King of Prussia or they're gonna go to movie time. If you're a diehard fan, you're gonna eat food and watch that movie. Or you're going to King of Prussia because you know that's where it's gonna be the most people in one theater. You're going to go there. So I went to King of Prussia. Went there, people were dressed up in costumes, everything.
Oh, I can
So
imagine.
when they went to go see it, and at the end of it, they're like, dude, this was bullshit. Like, and everyone said they're gonna make so much money off this thing, and it was bullshit. And it's just like
Completely agree.
we don't want another trilogy. We don't want shit. If it has to do with this,
Yeah.
we don't want it.
And if anything, that comment where she called herself Ray Skywalker was almost the nail in the coffin.
It was an insult. It was
It
an
was.
insult to everyone that watched them. And then, like, this is the other thing. So there was, and this showed me that, okay, it's not just people in our age group that were pissed off with it. It was people that were younger. Because when I went to go see it, there was people, I guess, who took their kids to see the other ones or showed them the other ones. And they were just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, there was a few people saying that. I was like, that doesn't make sense. And like, well, and then they're trying to explain it. Well, see, it's this. He's like, yeah,
There's
but he
nothing
was
to explain.
and
No,
then-
you can't explain it.
Yes, because and then another point, someone says, but the Palpatine situation, right? I remember that one too very well. Someone came out the theater so confused, and he was just there was no reaction in his face. It was just like this straight dull face, and then his kid was like, Dad, how was the movie? like he's asking his dad how. He's like, I'm so confused. He's like, that man was dead. Like, he's like, that man was dead. And then his son said this, what you said. But if everybody's related, his son said, don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't go down that rabbit hole. He told him, don't go down that rabbit hole. I was like, I just kept walking. I just
That was
kept
a whole,
walking.
bro. That was a whole conversation between me and Kev. For I think it was like an hour long, and we're just like trying to do the math. And I'm just like, bro, if we try and add this up anymore, I'm gonna have nightmares, or I'm gonna need an extra round of therapy. I don't know, but this is so far from center. Like
It was a lot of things, man, and that's why I don't put it on my list because it's just like you guys did a whole bunch of. Now there was some cool stuff in those 3 movies. There was a lot of cool things.
but it doesn't make up for
No.
all the
Like-
bullshit that happens.
For me, big thing for me in those 3 films, Millennium Falcon. It looked so freaking good. It
Yeah.
looked so good. Especially when I say, "Oh man, it's been in the freaking tow yard or whatever it was, junkyard. It was in the junkyard for so long."
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
it gave
oh,
it an
the
aged look, though. That
aged
just
look,
works.
The thing freaking still worked. I was like, "Oh damn!" Like this thing still worked. And then when Finn got in the shooting, he's like, "How does this work? How does this work?" Like there was so many cool things. Like, "Whoa, how do we do this?"
For
Like,
me, it
switch
was
these-
the scene with the TIE fighter when Poe and Finn are escaping
Oh,
the
yes.
Death Star,
Yeah.
and I love TIE fighters. I think
Yes.
they're awesome. And then you just see the upgraded TIE fighter. Like for me, that got me jacked up. I was like, dude, this is gonna be sick. And then the rest of the movie, and I'm like, I am so sad.
and I think that's what those 3 movies were. Hey, listen, we don't really got a plot. You did.
We're kind of just going with it.
You did, but you threw it away.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna wing it, but we're gonna make everything that everybody loves 10 times better, and give them a bullshit story. That's what we're gonna do, and it's gonna work. They're gonna come see it. They're gonna see the next one
Because it says Star Wars on it. That's why.
Exactly.
They're
You're
going-
buying the name brand. You're not buying the product.
It's a perfect example of you're paying for a name and you're not getting the product that you pay for. Unfortunately, like
Yep.
Now,
you can't even say you really can't even say like you got what you paid for because we didn't get what we paid for.
no, we didn't. Now, if they give us, now my list will change, and it will only change for this reason only. If the Darth Maul thing is that damn good, which I need it to be. I remember seeing Darth Maul as a kid
Oh my God.
on the screen. I was just like,
Life-changing
who
experience.
in the hell is this?
And where can I get his lightsaber?
Just that was before the lightsaber. That was just seeing him. I'm like, oh, that's paint. Oh, it's not paint. That's his real face. Oh my God.
Yeah, with tattoos.
that just got me. And
Red
then
skin with tattoos. And I'm
Yes.
just like, dude.
and then you got a double-edged lightsaber. I'm like, bro, what the hell is this?
He
What is
he
this?
changed the game as
Yes.
far as lightsaber battle.
Well,
like
not just him. Oh my God, what is the dude's name? I should know his name.
Savage Opress, that dude.
No.
Is that-
The droid.
Oh, Grievous.
Yes, bro.
They
I'm
changed.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. He holds 2 sabers. Oh, he holds 4. He holds 4 sabers. And
That right there, because that was before we got the television shows, so we didn't know this guy had 4 arms. And when he unlocks all 4, I'm just like, my mouth dropped.
And then it's collected from fallen Jedi that he killed and took them as souvenirs. Just
Yes.
amazing.
And then, like, for me, as a kid, I was just like, and they could have done this. They could have really done this. They could have just said, hey, look, this is a whole nother time zone situation, a whole nother subplot. Hey, they could have really fucked up the game and said, oh, we're going to give you Grievous versus Vader. Oh, we're going to give you another fight between Anakin and Vader, but except we're going to show you what happened if Anakin actually won. Oh, we're going to show you another subplot where Anakin never
Wouldn't that have
turned
been
evil,
something? Wouldn't that have
and
been
he
something
actually
special?
stayed good, but he ends up killing some of these Jedis because they double cross what actual following the Force is supposed to be, and he changes the order up, and Padme never dies.
Did you see Chris? Kev, you too. Did you see the what if video that Theory put out saying what if Anakin had killed Sidious and dethroned him after Mustafar?
No.
It was pretty. It was something special.
I've seen-
it was something special.
I've seen the one he did where what if before he went to Mustafar. So it's like
Okay.
he destroys the whole they're sending out the beacon to come back, and I forgot what theory. He sent out the beacon before to have the Outer Rim Jedi to come back.
Yeah.
But they knew what happened, and instead of coming back to the temple, they come back to get Palpatine. Like, I forgot who the main people were. It's the main characters that we saw on screen die in the movies, but they survived and came back. I think I could be quoting theory wrong, but it was. I seen that one.
Yeah, but it was nuts though. So they took a clip from the Revenge of the Sith game for the PS2. They show you Anakin running his sword through Sidious's chest, and then they kind of just go off on the the story from there, saying how he ended up being the most powerful. Like, he ended up taking over as Emperor. Padme didn't die, and they were able to raise their kids and all, and he raised them to be Sith.
Right.
Yeah.
Ended up creating like 10 Death Stars.
Oh.
Yeah, like he went that route. Like, he went that route. He went about as dark as it gets, but it was nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he want
But-
that food. Go ahead,
Yeah, he
boy.
about
Go
to-
get that food. Don't let nobody hold you back. Fill that belly up. Yeah.
Told you I don't trust him. I don't trust that boy. I love him, but I don't trust him. But honestly, if we would have, Disney could have gave us different plots, different scenarios. These didn't have to be movies. These could have been like a whole series leading, and they could have made sense. if we would have got another Obi-Wan and Anakin fight, and let's say even if Obi-Wan still won, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, Palpatine comes over, picks up Anakin, tries to turn him to Vader. He refuses. Technically, he could refuse. The reason I say that is because, well, he was able to still refuse when his son told him, no, listen, you got to do this different. Mm-hmm. He was able to turn then, right? He could turn right there. We seen where he got his mask gashed twice. Right. Where a quick second, boom, he came back to reality. What was stopping somebody if they didn't just freaking pause to knock off the freaking mask? You paused because you thought you injured him.
Right.
That's why you get this from. You can't even get this from. Okay. All right. Yeah. If they knocked off his mask, who's to say that he wouldn't have been like, help me, and snapped out of it?
Well, who would have been around him to do that?
Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan knocked the mask off for a second. He had him for more than 2 seconds.
But he still hated Obi-Wan.
Dude, I think Obi-Wan was still caught up in his own demons.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
But then let's not forget. Let's say Obi-Wan didn't be such of a dick to him when he first met him. Oh, we got another pointless person? What
What did this child ever do to
you? Like, if you would have came in and treated him different. Now, yes, they did create a bond eventually, but if you would have started off
that was a rough bond, though.
That
That was a rough bond.
toxic.
Yeah, it was extremely toxic. That was like, God, that was like a domestic abuse situation gone wrong. Like, that was just not good.
And there's so many different turns it could have made. His mom never died. So many things. Now, let's say if they flipped the script and Luke was the one who turned Sith. Like Anakin, you see him, oh, he might turn Sith. He's about to turn Sith, but he never does. But then we follow him and his son, everything like that. You think everything's cool. And out of nowhere, and I mean literally out of nowhere, like everything is going well. The story's good. Damn, he's going to be the next one up, this, that, and the third. And out of nowhere, he just kills his dad. They're just walking down the hall. He just kills him. They don't explain it. He just kills him.
So you're saying there's a what if?
Yeah, like, and that could have been the ending of an ending of a movie, ending of an episode. Give us the next one. The next one explains it. Like, there's so many different turns they could have done instead of giving us these 3 movies that they gave us.
Well, dude,
these
that's
last
what
3.
that's what I was saying.
Like,
they have so much information, and just from, just based off, just from what we've gotten in comics. I mean, you think about it all. Like, the Darth Vader series of comics. Like, they could easily make a television show off of something like that. Or, again, I've been praying for an Old Republic themed anything. Television show, movie, I don't care. But, like, I would love to see something, from, like, the Jedi Sith Civil War. Like, who knows? Anything.
Yeah. Well, if anything, we might have to give it a wrap.
Yeah.
And save this for a part 2.
Oh yeah.
I definitely would like to keep this along if you're willing to come back for
absolutely.
a part 2, and if you're willing to do a part
It's a very
2.
hot topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we could be here for hours, but we know we can't. This was good, y'all. I just want to give a huge shout out to Greg for joining us
Thanks
for this
for having me.
episode. And definitely love to have you come back and keep hitting us with some more gems. That's real good. Chris, you always giving us some gems. Elijah out here doing his thing.
More active than last time.
Oh, fries.
He got the fries. He ain't
Got the fries.
He ain't
He
in his
good.
own.
It's all right. But as usual, as we always say, I've been Kev, Christmas Chris, Elijah been Elijah, and Greg, you've been Greg. So let's stay in tune. All right, y'all. Peace.